Hey everybody, welcome back to a new episode of Before the Scene, and I am Nira Manalo, and I am joined by
Oh, Graham Pritchard.
right, and so if we sound um, any different or a little bit strange or anything like that, it's because we are recording um, virtually, so we're not gathered at the studio at the moment due to current events. And yeah, so we're doing this through um, freeconferencecall.com and recording via what was the program again?
OBS.
OBS. So this is how we're doing it. It's pretty cool. I'm kind of digging this setup. I think it's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
But
I'm enjoying it.
and we are gonna take a look at Honey Boy. Honey Boy is a movie by Shia LaBeouf. I think he wrote and directed it, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Um, so, and just a little bit of context about um, my views on this film and such. First off, I did not watch it yet. Um, Graham, did you?
Yes, I have watched it, and the things that I've heard from him after watching it is it's tiny bit of a biography of him as a child. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll watch that too. The behind the scenes and just kind of like what this movie means to Shia LaBeouf himself.
right.
And that it is really trying to kind of like talk about his relationship with his own father, because this movie is about a relationship between a child actor and his father. So um, yeah, there's that, and it goodness, it's pretty heavy stuff.
Yep, it
Um,
can be traumatizing, and it was traumatizing for Shia LaBeouf.
oh man, yeah, and I have to be in a certain mood to watch a movie like that. Um, so unfortunately, I haven't watched it yet, but it looks really, really good. And hands off to Shia for making a movie like this. And I did watch. I made the selection of the scene that we're about to read and watch, and I read and watched both prior. And gosh, this is a rough movie.
Yeah, this is a great scene. Good choice, man.
Yeah. All right.
So, this being a biography from him, I think it's fantastic that he wanted to tell this story and felt comfortable telling this story and bringing attention to domestic abuse. Um, I think it's great. And I love the movie. I think one thing that I wish Shia LaBeouf had a co-writer, and the only reason I say this, and he might have, but um, I wish he had one by his side that could have put a little bit of what is it, fiction in this, I guess. Just because it feels very real, and I wish there were a few more moments that kind of tied this all together. It just felt very flat sometimes, but I mean, the story is just so strong and emotional that I think it works very well. I just feel like if there was a little bit more fiction to kind of tie everything together and keep their people's eyes glued to the screen, I think that would have been great. But I mean, it's a great movie, and if you have a chance to see it, go see it. Nero, you should watch it. Um, but yeah, it's a fantastic movie.
All right. I'm on Wikipedia right now, and I just wanted to. I should be on IMDb, but I saw the Wikipedia link first. But it was directed by Alma Harrell, not Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, I think I did know that actually.
Yeah. She is on her Wikipedia page. She is a Israeli American music video and film director. Um, best known for her documentary Bombay Beach, and she's oh, Bombay Beach. I feel like I've seen this movie before. But yeah, so it was just written by Shia. Oh man, we're gonna look at Shia's writing. Goodness.
Yeah, and while you're on there, is there, or I don't know if you're on IMDb, but did he have a co-writer?
No, he did not have a co-writer via like getting this info from the Wikipedia. So
Hmm.
maybe I'll switch over to IMDb real quick. Um,
This is so nice having our computers in front of us to look these things
right?
up.
And I'm like typing super fast. I'm hacking in, getting the information. No, it looks like Shia LaBeouf is the only writer, the only person credited as the writer. So I mean, there might be there might have been like script editors maybe
Yeah,
that he had, but
and they probably wouldn't have much say on exactly what happens, but yeah.
yeah, since this is such a personal story, maybe he felt like, when it comes to writing, he's gonna write it, you know.
And I understand that, and I completely respect it. I just wish, I don't know. I watch the movie for yourself, and you might understand what I'm saying, or you might think it's perfect.
Right. And hey, fun fact, I met Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, no way. How'd that happen?
Yeah, it was in 2014. No, you know what? 2013. I'm typing in Shia LaBeouf 2013 movies. Oh man, so he just kind of got off of Nymphomaniac
I don't know that I've heard of
volumes
that one.
volumes 1 and 2. When I went to college, me and my roommates and my girlfriend at the time, we went to visit LA before we graduated from
Hmm.
IU, just to kind of like start like looking for things, looking for job opportunities or internships and such. So I think we went to this restaurant because I was like, oh man, I ate here all the time, so let's eat here again. And in line next to me was Shia. I think it was Claire who tapped my shoulder and was like, "Is that Shia LaBeouf?" And I like looked over and I was like, "Oh man,
That's so
confirmed.
cool.
That is definitely him. He was grungy as shit. He had his baseball cap on,
Hell yeah.
but you could definitely tell it's the
Hmm.
nose and his face shape, and we like lock eyes when I looked over, and
You had to say
I was
something,
like,
right?
well, I just gave him a look. I was like, I tilted my head. I'm tilting my head right now, but you can't see that. But I tilted my head and I kind of opened my mouth like about to say something,
Hmm.
and all he does is like he looks at me and he brings his finger up to his lips and he's like,
Yeah.
shh, like he didn't want to draw
Make a
any
scene. Yeah, that's
such like
fantastic,
any
dude.
attention. But then I was like, okay, and I like nodded my head to him, and he nodded back, and that was my interaction with
That's
Shia
so
LaBeouf.
cool.
Besides dealing with him sitting right next to me,
Oh man, that would be
and I
so
was like,
tempting to
oh,
talk to him.
oh, dude, what the hell, you know? Um, but he's a cool guy, I guess. I mean, I didn't get to talk to him, but he just nodded at me, and I think that was pretty cool and slick.
No, yeah, I think
And
that's really good interaction.
yeah, it was healthy. It was a healthy interaction. I didn't bother him. He didn't, you know, yell at me or anything like that. But gosh, and I think I made this realization not too long ago, but I realized I was a Shia LaBeouf fan when I like started naming off movies I liked,
Hmm.
and Shia LaBeouf seemed
Kept
to
popping up.
be, yeah, his movies kept popping up. I think it was under the conversation of like, hey, um, do you like Shia LaBeouf as an actor? And I was like, oh, well, I don't know, but I like this movie, I like this movie, I like this movie, and I was like, oh crap, that's like almost all his movies. So, so yeah, I think I might be a fan, but
Hell yeah,
I didn't watch this
Transformers.
one, huh?
I said hell yeah, Transformers, but I was just
Hey, Transformers: Dark of the Moon, best one. And I think that was the last one that featured Shia LaBeouf.
Mhm.
So I enjoyed them.
No
Anyway,
man, the first one I was a big fan of. Anyways, back to his newest movie,
okay.
which is Honey Boy, and we're gonna be reading from on page 70. And again, Nero, where did we find this script at?
You can find this script on No Film School. They have a page that specifically um, has all the links to the 2020 Oscar contending screenplays. So if you just search that on nofilmschool.com, you can find all these scripts.
Cool.
Um, we got Midsummer, we got Us, we got Ad Astra. Yeah, it has a lot of scripts. Pretty modern scripts. So, hey, I will say though, like I don't know the legitimacy of the script. I don't know what version the script of the scripts are here, like that are being provided. Like that could be like the first draft. I have no idea. There's
Right.
no information other than that. Hey, here's all the scripts. We'll just take that into
Hey man, we'll
consideration.
take what we can get, and they seem to be pretty accurate so far. So I think it's a great website to go check out and read and see how professional writers are writing their scripts.
True that.
So
Okay.
yeah, we're gonna be on page 70. So if you want to follow along with us, we're at the bottom of it, where it says Interior Vista Motel Night,
Okay. Cool. And I am gonna narrate and be Shia LaBeouf,
and I will be his
which
son Otis, which is probably actually Shia LaBeouf in real life, if that makes sense.
right. I'm playing James. I think that's Otis's dad's name, and his name is James. Yeah. Yeah. So
Hmm,
Shia LaBeouf is playing James, the dad. Cool.
correct.
All right. And I'm gonna start narration now. Here you go. Ready? Interior Vista Motel night. Close on Otis. Same vibe. He sits in the chair in the doorway, looking at his father's bike. He is smoking and fidgeting with his leg. James is laying on his bed. On the TV, the video of Otis and the TV dad scene. We stay here long enough for Otis to smoke half his cigarette. He turns towards his dad. Sorry. Um, we stay here long enough for Otis to smoke half his cigarette. He turns towards his father.
Dad,
James is totally into the TV, unaware of Otis's gaze.
I need you to hear me. I'm gonna say some things that I gotta say, and I need you to not interrupt me or run off.
Close on, Otis's face staring into the lens, the glow of the TV flickering off his face.
I was thinking the other day when you asked me about the rodeo and Tom, I was thinking about what other happy memories I had of you and me, and I swear to God, I've always been waiting for you to act like a real dad. You haven't done that one time.
Back in the room, James's face frozen watching TV, eyes to us. Then we see Otis enter his frame in profile. James keeps his eyes on us. Otis leans close to his father's ear and whispers.
I've missed you for a long time, Dad.
James's face is frozen, eyes into the camera. He slowly turns to his son and stares into his eyes, left eye to left eye. I love you, Jeff, and I love you more than words can say. James wipes his son's tears away and tenderly holds his face. We are wide again. Otis never left his seat. From the bed, James sees Otis crying in the doorway. What are you crying for? Otis tries to wipe away his tears. He realizes his cigarette is burnt to its end when it burns his fingers. He flicks it away and puts two fingers in his mouth to calm down. Go pick that up. Otis walks to the parking lot to retrieve the butt when then re-enters the room. What are you crying about?
What? What? I'm not.
You're crying about something.
Tom. Oh, sorry. I don't think that's how it's supposed to be read. Can you say your line again?
Okay. You're crying about something.
Tom.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
He still fixed our passports after you threatened to fuckface his dead family.
You should reread that part.
He still fixed our passports after you threatened to fuckface his dead family.
Fuckface?
Face fuck. Oh, did I
One more
did I say
time.
that two times?
Yeah.
Okay. He still fixed our passports after you threatened to face fuck his dead family.
James looks at him.
You're a sex offender. He's a federal employee. Don't you think you should
He kept pushing it. Otis gets right in his face.
shut the fuck up?
This is the first time we've seen Otis like this. James's voice remains steady and calm. Don't talk to me like that.
Listen to me and let me talk.
Lower your voice, Otis.
I want you to be a better dad. Sorry. I want you to be a better dad to me. Promise me. Put your pinky out right now and promise me you'll be better.
I'll be better. James offers up his pinky. Otis slaps it away.
This is not a joke. This is not one of your stupid little jokes.
Long beat. What is this then?
The end of our agreement.
End of our agreement? I'll tell you what. I hear you, man. You want a better father. A father that teaches you lessons and stuff, and you deserve one. You do. Otis sits on his bed. They face each other. So I'm going to try harder. You're going to start fresh right here, right now. Lesson number one. All smart guys know. If you can hit your boss once, James smacks all vitality out of his body. Whack. Close on James's face. Pure anger. We hear Otis moaning. Then you can hit him twice. Whack. Don't talk to me like that. Otis is coiled up on the bed crying.
Go away.
James gets up. Gladly, pal. Through the doorway, we see James walk outside, get on his bike, gun it, and go.
Man.
Right? Jeez.
I mean, it goes
Super
from,
heavy.
yeah, it goes from his son just trying to connect with his dad and wanting a father figure and being very emotional to, I don't know if it was, I'm excited to watch the scene, but because I can't remember, I don't know if it was because it sounds like because he was crying that his dad kind of snaps at him and it's like basically grow the fuck up. Like, yeah, it really dramatically changes and shows kind of how fucked up the situation is.
Right. And there's that also that how should I say that dominance. Like, Otis is a talent, and I think he's keeping his father employed via, any sort of like that weird relationship that a child actor has with their parent
Right.
who is also involved. So there's that like whole end of our agreement. There might have been like something said beforehand. I don't know. Like
I mean, I'm assuming he's fucked up several times just because this is kind of like the last straw.
anyway, I guess they had a conversation regarding that, and now it's being brought up again. And gosh, hold on. I just want to read this real quick one more time. Lesson number one. All smart guys know. If you can hit your boss once, then you can hit him twice. Damn. That's it's quite the lesson there. Pretty
Yeah.
that is like showing like that kind of shows that relationship dynamic is that Otis technically is the boss, being the talent, and James says, is asserting that dominance of like if you can hit him once, you can hit him twice, because he's not really the boss. Does that make sense?
Mhm. It's not good.
Like, I just kind of like wanted to understand what he's doing there, and it's pretty fucked up. Pretty
Yeah.
fucked up.
He's either showing him that he's not the boss or that I mean, cuz in like aside the point of being the job, like his dad's the boss, you know? I really like this script and I feel the emotion. I think it's written very well.
Oh, so now we're talking about like how it's being written, script wise and narration wise versus other things that we've read in the past where it felt lackluster.
Correct.
So you feel like there's a little bit more of a emotion to
Yeah,
to how it's being narrated.
definitely. And just the descriptions too, like the glow of the TV flickering on his face, and him, James is totally into the TV, unaware of Otis's gaze. I think that those kind of things haven't been in a few of the previous scripts that we've read. I think that really add, even though it's just showing that James is completely ignoring his own son while he's trying to talk to him about something very serious. Um, I think that there's very good description and it makes me feel the intensity of this scene and the emotion of this scene.
Yeah, it really is. It really does add. Like that really helps. With that being said, there's something I didn't get to like read out loud because it was um, kind of how it was in the parentheticals
Hmm.
of how it was being said. On page 71 at the bottom, it says when James finally like looks over at his son, it says audio lip sync of TV dad. I love you, Jeff. I love you more than words can say. So he's he's imagining he like I guess Otis is hearing the audio from the TV and he's imagining that interaction of him telling his dad that he's missed
Hmm.
his dad and I guess he's using that audio cue from the TV to put those words into James's response and I think that's pretty
That's
cool
crazy.
and clever.
That's
And I was just kind of interested in what that would have looked um, like on screen, you know?
Yeah, I don't know that I noticed that while watching it, but I mean, and I don't know that I really understood it the first time that we read it, but you pointing that out, like, that's tough. Like, that was a fantastic move by Shia LaBeouf putting that in the story, and um, that just shows that he had to imagine things for his dad to say for him to feel okay, and he just wanted someone to love him, and this just exemplifies that times five, and I think it's a fantastic idea, and I really like what he did there.
Yeah. And also another thing with Shia's writing, if he did write this before it got like I don't know if we're seeing something that he wrote originally or is this the shooting script? I'm not sure.
Mhm.
But there is those like cues on things like on the TV, close on,
Mhm.
just left eye to left eye. There just seems to be kind of like framing cues on on
Just
the
specific
script.
things that the camera needs to hit.
Yeah, like because there's like this one thing where it says back in the room, James's face frozen watching TV, eyes to us. Then we see Otis enter his frame in profile.
Right.
So that kind of like stage direction also kind of like adds to what's happening.
Right.
So that's something pretty interesting about how the script was written.
Mhm. I don't think it's over the top though. It doesn't annoy me like usual camera direction does.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I had no problem with it at all. Did you did do you find that sometimes it is um, not great
If
when it
it's
comes to other things?
Yeah, I feel like this lets us really dive into the script. Sometimes they annoy me or it's completely in my face or it's like every few lines like there's something new. But I feel like it's easy to ignore or it can add to something. I think where was it? I think it's down at the bottom of page 73, close on James' face, pure anger. I think that adds to the story, like knowing that like we could have just said, or he could have just said James' face has pure anger, or however you want to word it without saying close on. But I think knowing that that's for sure what like a little piece of the film that we're gonna see right there, I think that adds to it. I don't think it's too over the top, but yes, to answer your question, normally camera direction inside of scripts annoys me.
I gotcha. But yeah, there's a very specific vision I guess he wanted to um, nail,
Hmm.
nail in, lock in. So there's that. And with that being said, you want to go ahead and watch this scene?
Yeah, one more thought, just because you brought something to my mind after saying that is very specific direction for this in mind. How much freedom do you think he gave to the director? What was her name again?
Oh crap.
Alma something, right?
Yeah, it's Alma Harel. I
How
wish
much?
I knew how to say her last
Yeah.
name, but
How much freedom do you think she had, and how close do you think he had much say in his performance or whatnot? Or do you think he wrote the script, gave it to her, knew, trusted her, and just let go?
I think if anything, he might have like really trusted this director. I don't know if Shia LaBeouf was like producing this movie.
Mhm.
There's always going to be that like hierarchy that we don't know when it comes on set. We can see hierarchy on paper and be like, oh, director, the assistant director, blah blah blah, right? But when it comes to like how they communicate on set, I my guess would be that he, Shia really trusted her
Mhm.
and trusted the her past work and her experience in order to really um, nail um, nail down Shila's vision.
Mhm.
And gosh, what was your original question again?
How much freedom do you think? Like, do you think he let
I,
go,
th- I
or do you?
think he gave
Mhm.
he gave some freedom. He Shia LaBeouf probably gave a lot of freedom
I think
to
that's great.
Alma. I mean, that's just speculation, but like with his behavior, he seems to be really um, looking for some sort of like interaction when it comes to like him personally. Shia doing all those like weird like art performance stuff
Mhm.
where he's just like, there's a phone number that you can call Shia and he'll just listen to you and he's like looking for something, you know.
Yeah.
And there's that one thing where he's like stood in front of a camera forever. Like I think he's someone who's not gonna just ignore another person's like opinion.
Yeah, I think he's very open and wants to do wants to show his art to the world and is okay with letting go of things because he knows everyone has an opinion and everyone has an opinion and everyone's art is just as beautiful as the next.
Yeah, I think he's definitely looking for that artist interaction,
Yeah,
if anything.
I
So,
think that's the best way to word it. All
all
right, we
right,
ready to hop into the scene?
I kind of am not because I know how heavy this is gonna be.
Yeah.
So here we go.
This podcast is brought to you by Arizona Studios. Arizona Studios, a full-service video content specialist. We're here to illuminate your message and compel your audience to take the right action. For more information, head to our website at arizonastudios.com and be sure to tune in for more content on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
Man.
Yikes! Oh my gosh, man. I don't know, Graham. I don't know if I could watch this movie. I'm probably gonna
I
watch this movie like one day. One day I'll have the courage to watch this movie like Shia LaBeouf has the courage to talk to his dad.
Yeah, and the courage to write this script and let it out into the world. You definitely have to be in a mood to watch this movie.
And to write that movie.
Yeah,
Gosh.
I can only imagine how much this has affected him and how much this is like boiled inside of him.
Yeah. Gosh. I wonder if there was like a sense of this makes me wonder how long has this been like going on for Shia and when did it end? Because I think there's got to be that moment of separation where he's like, I don't need you anymore. I don't need you around me anymore. I have the star status where I can represent myself as an
Hmm.
adult. And I think he did do that because I read up on Shia LaBeouf's like relationship with his dad. I think his relationship with his dad is better now. Um, but there might have been that like moment of his dad not being there, like unless his dad has always been there and has kept abusing him, and that's why Shia had those mental breakdowns here and
Hmm.
there. So I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know if their relationship is better. I guess I hope so.
I
Um,
think it is. I think I read somewhere it is. It's
hmm,
gotten better.
that's good.
Yeah, especially since this movie came out.
Yeah, I can only imagine how his dad feels after this movie. But I mean, I guess I don't really care how he feels just because of what happened.
If his dad was the same character as Shia is like portraying,
Mhm.
you would think like that his dad's like unaware of okay, so in the scene we saw um that Otis is crying and opening up to his dad, right? And he gets yelled at for being a shitty father, and his immediate like reaction to that is to trick him to like lower his son's guard down only to hit him again. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, you're right. You deserve a better father." And then that's that moment of like, "Oh, hey, maybe I'm getting to him. Maybe um this could be the start of something." Like I don't know where Otis's mind is at when he's hearing his dad say this. Maybe he doesn't believe him or whatever, but
Mhm.
let's think that
It's
he's
like he's
starting to lower
giving
his guard. Yeah.
it's like giving him a little like sliver of hope and then
Yeah.
yeah.
Gosh. And then like went straight for it. Um so yeah, I can only imagine like his dad seeing this and being that same person, but like, "Oh, well, thanks for, sharing that." And then he like hits Shia LaBeouf for like, portraying him like that.
Mhm.
And there just doesn't seem to be any sort of remorse afterwards because he's like, his son's like, "Go away." And it's like, "Oh, I'll gladly go away.
Right.
See ya." And I'm sure that he popped up again the next day to
Mhm.
continue their relationship, this abusive relationship. So, oof. Do you want to talk about just because we kind of touched on it before we went and saw the scene, the camera directions on the script and how it relates to the directions that was portrayed visually, delivered visually?
Yeah, we can. Honestly, I didn't even pay attention to that. Um, and I would watch through right now, but I don't want to interrupt your audio because it'll play, or I'll mute it actually. Sorry. But yes, I would like to talk about that. I didn't really pay attention to it while watching. Um, but I think the only one that I really noticed is when he whispers in his ears and he's just looking straight at the camera, and I'm almost positive. Let me find it on the script. Yeah, James' face is frozen, watching TV, eyes to us. So, I mean, that's pretty much the exact shot. Do you have anything to say about that?
Oh, I just had to understand um, that translation from that script to that visual is like, oh, eyes to us means like he's still looking at the camera. I'm sorry,
Right.
he's still looking at the TV. So he's still watching TV. I just needed to understand that, I guess.
Hmm.
And I was just getting a little bit confused when I was reading it as a script description, you know.
No, that makes
So
sense.
I mean, other than that, everything seems to kind of
Line up for the most part.
line up because Otis was outside looking in, and because it's like there's scene descriptions where it says two room, in room, or something like that. So that's just um, James, the father, just on the bed watching TV. So just that separation is very apparent,
Hmm.
you know, and that works. That definitely works visually, and it works also metaphorically because, like, his son's outside of the room, blah blah
Oh,
blah.
yeah.
You can make sense of that.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
so it seems like Shia had some DP influence, I
Yeah,
guess, or just yeah, that kind of influence, that visual influence he wanted to really put put in there, put like express.
that's a very good point. That where was it? The I love you, Jeff. I love you more than words can say. The audio lip sync of the TV. I think that whatever you want to call it, like that dream state or whatever, him imagining his imagination of his dad saying this, I think that hit really hard in the script, but I think it hit even harder and way more emotional in the film, and I think it was done very well.
Yeah, for sure. I think discrepancy wise between the script and the visual, there's not really much difference. I think what we read was definitely delivered visually,
Yes.
like successfully,
Hmm.
I think.
And I hope that, and I'm glad that Shia LaBeouf had his vision told the way he wanted it to, considering he wrote this and he had someone else direct it. And I hope the rest of the script really is the same way. And I hope that it's a story. And I imagine just, I haven't watched too many interviews of him after this, but I assume he's happy with it. And I'm glad that he got his story told.
Yeah. The one thing I was definitely not prepared for though was when he was teaching him that lesson. It's like if you can hit your boss once and he slaps him, right?
Hmm.
I in my head when I was reading it and then like then before the next slap, there was a longer pause
Hmm. It
there.
was pretty quick in the
But
film.
but he's like, whack, and it's like you can hit him twice, whack. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn. No, it's pretty savage and
Hmm.
brutal there. I was like, shit.
Definitely.
I wasn't ready for it, and that makes me feel like I'm not ready to watch this movie yet, for sure.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
And what's kind of funny that I'm realizing because I'm staring at the Honey Boy poster is that there's a clown on it, right? And well, there's a depiction of a clown, right? And I don't know what that means contextually, but it's kind of funny to think, well, not really funny, but there's like this little moment that Shia LaBeouf was kind of known for comedic roles when he was younger, and to
Oh, wow.
like kind of feel like this movie is, I don't know what's happening in this movie, but is the boy Otis, was he involved in roles that were comedy based while this was going on, you know? So
Hmm.
that there's that, uh, that comparison between Shia LaBeouf's real life performance as a comedy actor in roles like on Disney, like even Stevens or whatever, you know, and how that kind of like progressed into more serious stuff. I don't know if that's shown in this movie Honey Boy, or was it? Do you know if it was?
Him, Shia LaBeouf, or the kid being in comedy stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you're looking at this poster at, um, but there's another poster on here. Sorry, I was getting sidetracked. I wanted to throw my other thought in there, but there's another poster with him having pie in his face, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't say that it's comedy, and we don't really see too much of what his son is going to do. Like we see snippets of it every once in a while, but it's more about their relationship and um, the other people that Shia LaBeouf or the kid, what's his Otis, comes in contact with. We don't see too much of him in film, but there are like I think it was the first scene or something. I'm pretty sure he swings into pie or pie swings into his face. So, I mean, that could be traumatizing in itself. Like that's kind of comedy, like so I could see like how your point comes to life of him having a clown on his face in the other poster.
Yeah. Yeah, I see the other poster where um Otis has pie on his face. So That's like comedy in the expense of of one's dignity. Can be
Exactly. Yeah.
can be kind of like, yeah, geez. Heavy stuff, heavy stuff. Um, cool. But I mean, I like the script. I think it delivered on that emotion,
Mhm.
and I think the visual end product was delivered with that same emotion. That same emotion is present in both uh, both versions, unlike some other scripts that we've read.
Mhm. Yeah. It was a great script, great read. I'd recommend you watching it when you feel emotionally ready, and for everyone
Never.
else,
I'm
everyone
never
else,
emotionally ready for it.
and everyone else out there, when you guys are emotionally ready, it's a great story, it's a great message, and it's worth the time.
Cool. All right. Well, that does it for this episode, I think, unless we have something else to say.
Nope,
Do you have
that
anything
we
else to say?
can we can close it up.
All right, cool. Actually, can you close it up? I think there's a lawnmower coming my way, so
I got
I
you.
think I'm gonna mute my mic. All right,
Okay, sounds good.
here you go.
All right, guys. Well, this has been Before the Scene. My name's Graham Pritchard, and you heard Nero Manalo. And thanks for tagging along with us. Thanks for listening to us. If you have any comments about the film or questions or anything, please comment. And if you're listening on iTunes, then head over to YouTube or SoundCloud or wherever where you can comment. Otherwise, thanks for listening, and you will hear us next time.